Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be a review of New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 6. All right, first match of the night, or first match, we had Apollo 55 taking out the No Remorse Core. I actually thought this was the match of the night. Just a really hot opener. Really, in Japanese wrestling shows, we're so, especially in Noah, you're really used to the first match of the night just really sucking big time. But this was really, really good stuff. You have a lot of established singles wrestlers kind of rehashing or reforming with or teaming back up with some of their old tag team partners. Apollo 55, Prince Devitt and Ryusuke Taguchi, coming back together. Devitt's been on fire the last couple of years, a lot of you guys know. And Taguchi, he was in the finals of the Best of America or Best of the Super Juniors tournament with Kota Ibushi in the finals. They had a really underrated match, which everyone should check out. So he's been on a tear this year. So they formed back together as Apollo 55. And then you get the No Remorse Core, which was a huge stable in Ring of Honor back in like 2007, 2008, led by Roderick Strong, and it featured Davey Richards and Rocky Romero. So yeah, so Davey and Rocky team back up, and just really, really good action. A little spotty, but at the same time, you got a lot of great wrestling. You got a lot of great, pinning predicaments, near falls, some pretty sweet submissions, some high spots. Really, really awesome spot in the match. Davey went for a pinning predicament, and then he rolled it up into a bridge. And then, Devitt got onto the top rope and did, Loki's double stomp right on Davey. So that was pretty sick. And really hot finish. Like I said, just a lot of great back and forth action. Definitely probably the match of the night. 3.5 stars. All right, next up we have the Aerial Kingdom match. We had, so you got like some of the, juniors mixing it up with some of the guys from CMLL from Mexico. So yeah, a lot of lucha influence in this match. You got Jushin Thunder Liger, who got a really great pop. He's really in this really cool white attire. So yeah, he got a great reaction. So you got Liger, Mascara, Dorada coming in, teaming up with Kushida and Tiger Mask 4. And they took on Taka Michinoku, former WWE wrestler, Taichi, Atlantis, and Valiente. This is a lot of fun, actually. I really had fun with it. It got about maybe 15 to 17 minutes. They got, they started doing the thing where they were kind of ripping each other's masks off during part of the match, which kind of, I'm not really a big fan of that kind of stuff. So that kind of dragged. And then they did this, kind of spotty part of the match where each guy took turns, jumping over the top rope. But aside from that, you just had a lot of nice athletic wrestling in this match. I just thought it was a lot of fun. It definitely, I would say, one of the better parts of the show, in my opinion. I didn't think it was that bad. I give it about a solid 3 stars. Next up, we had Kazuchika Okada taking on YOSHI-HASHI. Yeah, just very, very dull. Definitely the weakest match of the night. Both these guys just got no reaction. Not so sure if they were really ready to wrestle in front of this kind of environment. But it was what it was. Just very, very, just a very forgettable match. Next up, we had Yuji Nagata taking on and Inoue Wataru taking on Masakatsu Funaki and Kono Masayuki. Yeah, the selling point for this match was Nagata and Funaki. Obviously, some of you guys might remember Masakatsu Funaki from All Japan. He's from what I've seen, he's one of their most valuable wrestlers. He's put on some really, really solid matches that got a lot of buzz over the last couple of years. So it was cool to see him and Nagata go at it. Nagata's facial expressions got great reaction. That was probably like the hottest the crowd got all night, was when Nagata had one of the guys in like an armbar, and his facial expressions just got great reactions. And post match, Nagata and Funaki were going at it pretty hard. We got a nice brawl, between two guys in their 40s, and the referees came in to break it up. So you normally don't get to see two guys that old really going at it that hard. So that was pretty entertaining. Overall, yeah, the match was really, really good. It just didn't go long enough for it to really reach that level. Next up, we have Masato Tanaka and Yujihiro Takahashi taking on MVP and Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, really, really sweet stuff. Masato Tanaka, it seems like he's slimming down year by year. You got some hardcore stuff in this match. Tanaka actually did his splash through that little thick table at the beginning of the match. But MVP had the eye of the tiger in this match. You could just see it in his eyes. He definitely has that sense of urgency, which is something Shelton Benjamin just doesn't have. But Shelton looked pretty good here. It didn't go too long. Some of his Ring of Honor stuff, he wrestles about maybe 20 to 25 minutes. And I don't know. The thing about Shelton is, I'll say this, I think a lot of his success had to do with Chris Benoit. You know, I remember he talked about how he was training with Chris Benoit when they were both on Raw, and he actually decided to stop training with Benoit because he felt like his body wasn't really changing, so he felt like he could kind of, you know, get by without doing that much. And I think after that, you could definitely tell like his something was just kind of missing, especially when Benoit moved on to SmackDown. So yeah, maybe that has something to do with Shelton really just being in this slump, which he's been in for about 5 years now. But like I said, MVP looked really good here. You know, this was short, but it was really good action. I think MVP has really improved since going over to New Japan. Definitely. All right, next up we have Bad Intentions of Carl Anderson and A-Train Albert, or what does he call himself now? I'm not even sure. Taking on Kojima and Tenzan. Yeah, this was probably the second best match of the night. I really thought this really picked up. You had one point in the match, Kojima was knocked out, and Tenzan was trying to fight off Carl Anderson and Albert. You know, Anderson did this sick diamond cutter to him, and then I think you know, A-Train did a beautiful power bomb, and surprisingly Tenzan kicked out, and he fought him off. He started headbutting both guys, got the hot tag to Kojima. Somehow they got you know, Carl Anderson on the outside, and I think Kojima hit A-Train with the sick lariat. And yeah, just a pretty hot ending. I believe Tenzan hit a moonsault, and then Kojima and Tenzan finally win the IWGP Tag Team Championships. So Bad Intentions finally lost the titles. A lot of people who said Bad Intentions probably the Tag Team of the Year. I don't really know if I go that far, but they definitely had a great title run from what I've seen. And so Kojima and Tenzan, the new Tag Team Champions. Next up, you had Yoshihiro Takayama taking on Tobi Makabe. This is kind of like a Noah New Japan you know, matchup, and I don't know, this really dragged for me. I don't know, if Takayama's not in the ring with the right guy, I don't know, sometimes I'm finding his matches really tough to watch. But Makabe is he's pretty established. You know, he's a former IWGP champion. You know, it was a great victory for him because he went over, you know, somewhat of a legendary figure in Takayama. But I don't know, it was good. The finishing sequence is pretty sick, actually. I actually do like the finish. Takayama took a brutal bump there, but yeah, I mean, it was a pretty average match. Next up, we have the legendary Keiji Muto taking on Tetsuya Naito. Keiji Muto, I would say this, if some of you guys that might not know, this is pretty much like the first guy that really stood out to me as far as Japanese wrestling goes. You know, back in the early 2000s, he read the PWI 500. I remember 2001, I think he had Angle #1, Austin #2, and Keiji Muto was actually #3. So he was pretty much like the only Japanese wrestler in the top 10 of like the most well-known established guys from Japan back in the early 2000s. So, you know, I've always like knew about him, but I never really saw much of him. Yeah, this match dragged big time. I fell asleep to this match twice. I didn't think it was bad. I thought they tried to tell a pretty good story. You know, it felt like a big time match, and it was. I heard some people say that it was an honor for Naito to actually get the rub just by being in there with Muto. So I can understand that. So I'll give it about 2.5. I mean, not terrible, but definitely, you know, just very it definitely did drag though. All right, next up we have Shinsuke Nakamura and Toru Yano of New Japan taking on Pro Wrestling Noah of Naomichi Marufuji and Go Shiozaki. Oh, extremely disappointing. You know, there's a lot of going around about how Shiozaki is very stale right now, how he's not ready to, you know, I'll just say this, I like Shiozaki. You know, I met him, or, you know, I saw him at Death Before Dishonor 6. You know, I kind of nodded to him. I didn't think he would nod back, but the guy was nice enough to nod back to me, so I do like him. It's just, I don't know, you just don't get that feeling that you get with Kobashi. You know, some people call him, you know, Little Kobashi, but just, I don't know, when he comes out to the ring, it's just, you just don't feel that it factor, I would say, even though I do think he's a great wrestler. You know, what can I say? I think Nakamura is on a tear right now. His G1 Climax stuff, everyone, don't sleep on it. I feel like I'm kind of talking to the wall when I talk about him, but yeah, Nakamura. I would say that Wrestle Kingdom next year, your main event needs to be Nakamura versus Kenta. I think that's the match that everybody wants to see. But yeah, Marufuji just came back from injury, so he couldn't really do much. You know, Toru Yano had that great match with Tanahashi when they started turning on Tanahashi. I love that match. But, you know, this was pretty much just like your standard Noah match. It just really nothing. It didn't really have that New Japan versus Noah feel to it. Next up, we have Hiroki Goto taking on Takashi Sugiura. Very disappointing. Only going to give about 3 stars. This is a rematch from 2 years ago at Wrestle Kingdom. It just dead crowd. Just I don't know. Just Goto actually won the match, but now Sugiura's lost the belt. Just really. I don't know. These matches just kind of feel very routine to me. Just really nothing to talk about. All right, down the main event, we had Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Minoru Suzuki for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, Tanahashi, I said, I don't think he's the best wrestler in Japan. If I came off like that, that's not what I meant. I just thought he had the best year. I thought he was booked the best. I thought he accomplished the most. That's why I said he was, my Japanese wrestler of the year. Minoru Suzuki, this guy's really hot right now. He had, what some people were calling the match of the year in Japan against Nakamura at the G1 Climax tournament. Check that fucking match out. Don't sleep on it. That match was awesome. Short, but friggin' sweet. But let me tell you this. This was disappointing in my opinion. Minoru Suzuki, he's a great heel. You definitely have that babyface versus heel dynamic. He just looks like a convict. He looks like a badass. He looks like a prisoner. So, the match was very, very slow, though. It was it took a while to get going, but I thought they built up to, steady, it was good progression as the match went along. Suzuki was kind of sick in the match. He was kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of antagonizing Tanahashi, kind of insulting him, just kind of bitch slapping him and kind of licking the ropes. Just a lot of sadistic and twisted things he was doing out there. But I don't know. I just would have liked to see more intensity out of Tanahashi. I don't know. This match just really didn't pick up to me. And Tanahashi got his generic, win with the frog splash to actually retain the title. Some people were saying Tanahashi's the John Cena of New Japan, and he's very, very marketable. He's got I don't know. Maybe Japanese women are attracted to him. He does come off. He does have that superstar presence about him. So yeah, he's had the belt for a whole year now. He actually won the championship last year at Wrestle Kingdom, so this marks a whole year he's been the champion. So congratulations to him. This is a pretty good show. I would say definitely check out some of the best matches from the show. Definitely don't sit through the whole thing though. The whole thing is not recommended. A lot of these matches did drag, but that's pretty much it. So that's New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 6. Hope you guys enjoy the review and take it easy.